After the scoreless first quarter, Franklin Marshall began to move the football. Here, quarterback E.J. Schneider hits Paul Kaler for 16 yards, and then Schneider looks over the middle to Tim Muller for 12 more to set up a Connor Ryan 20-yard field goal to give Franklin Marshall a 3-0 lead 5 minutes into the second quarter. Chris Flynn sets Muhlenberg up at the F&M 23, picking off Schneider. Joe Carlucci teams with Cody Geyer 19 yards for the touchdown, giving Muhlenberg a 7-3 lead. The Diplomats came right back. Schneider to Jordan Zachary for 25 yards. Then Schneider looking left for Paul McGann, who goes 10 yards deep inside Muhlenberg territory. Only 23 seconds left in the half, Connor Ryan booted his second field goal, a 31-yarder, to make it 7-6 Muhlenberg at the break. Early in the third quarter, F&M defensive back Aaron Font picks off Carlucci, setting up the F&M offense. Schneider looks right side for Kaler for 16 yards. Lamont Jackson takes it from there, plunging in from 1 yard out to give Franklin Marshall 14-7 lead. After a 3-and-out, F&M comes right back. Frank Stromolo up the middle for 16. And then Schneider on a quarterback draw, 6 yards for a touchdown to put F&M up by 14. Freshman quarterback Nick Palladino looks deep and throws a 54-yard bomb to Cody Geyer to pull the Mules within 7. On fourth down, at midfield, Muhlenberg goes for it, but the pass is deflected. Franklin Marshall takes advantage of the short field. Here Schneider teams with Zachary for 17. And Jackson provides the game-clinching touchdown, going around right end, 23 yards for the touchdown to give F&M a 28-14 lead. Nick Palladino kept the Mules close, scoring on this 6-yard run, but that was the final score. Franklin Marshall defeats Muhlenberg 28-21. Moravian made the trip across the Mason-Dixon line to take on McDaniel. The Green Terror scored in this opening drive. Here Joe Rollins runs 44 yards for the touchdown to put McDaniel up 7-0. On the ensuing possession, Ryan Yamada throws over the middle 25 yards to J.T. Katowski. To set up this Joe Rollins run, 21 yards to pay dirt, and McDaniel led 14-0 just 7.5 minutes into the contest. Moravian picks off this Yamada pass on the tip drill. Richard Kugel picks it off and goes into Green Terror territory. McDaniel came right back. Here Rollins takes it up the middle for 25 yards. And Rollins again scoring his third touchdown of the day, this time around the left side, 15 yards to give McDaniel a 21-0 lead with 13 minutes left in the second quarter. McDaniel was looking for more points, but were stopped on this 4th and 1. And when Noah Miller picked off this Yamada pass, the Greyhounds escaped 21-0 at the break. Moravian's offense got in gear in the second half. Here, Robbie Moyer teams with Jimmy McCarthy for 14 yards. Chris Negron takes one up the middle, kicks to the outside, 20 yards deep into McDaniel territory. Sets up this Robbie Moyer 1-yard touchdown run to make it 21-7 McDaniel early in the third. Here's Chris Negron with a 2-yard touchdown run to make it 21-14. And then when Ed Boyd picks off this Yamada pass and takes it down to McDaniel 21, Greyhounds are in business late in the fourth quarter. Moyer looks to the end zone, but the pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage by Eric Clue. Now on fourth down, Moyer looks to the corner for Jimmy McCarthy, but the ball was incomplete. McDaniel took over on downs. The Greyhounds had one last chance. Moyer threw a Hail Mary deep, but it was picked off by Mike Kuzar. The Green Terror in a 13-game losing streak with a 21-14 win. Juniata traveled to Carlisle to take on Dickinson. The Eagle defense took advantage of this Sean Wilson fumble. Kevin Gorman on the recovery, setting up the Eagles in excellent field position. Michael John with a 10-yard run sets up quarterback Ward Judinsky's 1-yard plunge to put the Eagles up 7-0 midway through the first. On the ensuing kickoff, the Red Devils fumble the ball. Juniata pounces on the loose football, setting up this Ken Kaiser 25-yard field goal. Juniata leads 10-0. Cole Lownell drops back to throw. His pass is picked off by Charles Swigert, and the Eagles are in business again. Kaiser converts for points, this time a 38-yard field goal. Juniata leads 13-0 late in the first. Juniata's offense comes on the attack again. Here Udinski looks for Colton Myers, complete for 24 yards. Zach McCauley gets the handoff, runs 12 yards into the end zone, give Juniata a 20-0 lead. Michael John takes one up the middle for 28 yards into Dickinson territory. That sets up Udinski. Another touchdown pass, this time 20 yards to Hunter Phillips, and the Eagles are on top 27-0. Dickinson gets some offense generated in the third quarter. Cole Arnell runs for 16 yards. And here Arnell looks to pass for 15 yards and an extra 15-yard penalty tacked on. Sets up this Arnell 7-yard touchdown run to make it 27-7. Juniata came right back. Udinski looking down the right sideline for Kyle Shuck. 46 yards, setting up the Eagles offense once again. Kaiser had his third field goal of the day, and Juniata went on to win 37-14. Ursinus traveled to the battlefield to take on Gettysburg. Here Eric Boyer boots a 26-yard field goal to give the Bears an early 3-0 lead. Gettysburg comes right back. Zach Miller teams with Freddie Caruso. On a pass into Ursinus territory, Matt Perkins evens up the score at 3 with a field goal. Jason Golderer on a 6-yard plunge puts Ursinus back up 10-3 early in the second quarter. And when Andrew Fiorentino scooped up this fumble at the Gettysburg 19, the Bears were back in business. Boyer's second field goal of the day makes it 13-3 in favor of Ursinus. Miller brings the Bullets right back, here 10 yards to Matt Pinella, and it sets up Kyle Wigley, who runs up the middle, untouched, 38 yards for the touchdown to close the Gettysburg deficit to 13-10. Ursinus came right back. Golderer, who had 185 yards in a day, picks up 34 yards on this run. And it was Golderer who got the honors from 1 yard out to put Ursinus up 20-10 early in the third. Gettysburg picked off quarterback Chris Kerr, and here's Brian Calatazzo with one of 2 interceptions on the day. Zach Miller drops back to throw, looks deep down the left sideline for Aiden Twir, who pulls it in and goes 62 yards for a touchdown to make it 20-17 Ursinus. But it was all Bears from there. Here, Corey Kelly goes up the middle 13 yards to make it 27-17. Curran then looks deep for Josh Williams, who pulls it in for a 37-yard reception. That sets up Golderer for his third touchdown run of the day. Makes it 34-17, and Ursinus went on to defeat the Bullets 41-23. Hopkins comes out throwing early in this tussle against Susquehanna. Here, Robbie Mady to Bob D'Orazio for 23 yards, and then Mady down the left side for Brandon Cherry, 36 yards to give Hopkins a 7-0 lead. The Crusaders answered right back. Here, Taylor Colmer looks deep and finds Devin Pasco, 31 yards to the Blue Jay 1-yard line. Colmer did the honors from there to tie it up. Mady comes right back, 36 yards to Ryan Finkel to set the Blue Jays up deep in Crusader territory. Mady gives Hopkins a 14-7 lead on this 6-yard run midway through the second. Susquehanna's defense kept the Blue Jays at bay. Here, Cody Miller picks off a pass, and Steven Villegas' sack stops another Blue Jay drive. Matt Connery records one of Hopkins' 10 sacks, and when Robbie Mady scores on this 13-yard run for the final touchdown of the day, Hopkins were on to win 24-7.
Welcome back to Inside the Huddle with Juniata head coach Tim Launtz. Coach, the Eagles are 2-0 for the first time since 2002, after a 37-14 win at Dickinson. There seems to be a buzz around the Juniata program for the first time in quite a while.
Well, it's nice to see that we've gotten off to a good start this year. I know that we've talked to our kids from day one here about to keep tapping the rock, and what we mean by that is that we have to have consistency. It's not just to pick up the hammer and take one wild swing, and if we don't crack the rock, then we lay the hammer down. We've tried to consistently work towards what the process is to become a better football team. Right now, we talk a lot about staying focused on the process and competing, and what we mean by that is that we need to embrace the gradual evolution that all teams go through and not look too far ahead. And I think we're doing that with our process. We're basing everything on performance, not outcome. And in terms of competing, right now, we understand that we can't rest, because if we rest in this program, especially in this conference, there'll be consequences.
Junior quarterback Ward Udinsky is off to a great start, leading the conference in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and total offense. A 3-year starter, talk about his improvements into one of the conference's top signal callers.
Ward came here. Ward was one of the young men that, when we said, if you can't see the invisible, you can't do the impossible, when we were attempting to rebuild this program, he saw a vision. And the thing about Ward is, Ward's not only an outstanding football player, Ward is an outstanding young man. We talk about character above all else in our program, and Ward Udinsky is the example of that. He excels in the classroom, he excels in the community, and he excels on the field. Ward has worked very diligently to improve his game in all aspects. Ward leads by the example. I mean, he lets his actions speak for him and not his words. It's evident he was elected as a team captain as a junior. We're very fortunate to have a young man like Ward Udinsky in our program. He has been a great. He's contributed a lot to where our program is right now.
The Eagles are certainly not just a one-man team. Talk about some of the other key players on the offensive side of the ball.
We're not a one-man team in any way, shape, or form. Everyone is important in the Juniata football program. We talk all the time about individual responsibility will lead to collective success, and collective success will lead to individual recognition. The individual responsibility that we're seeing in our program, like offensively, right now we're playing 6, 7, 8 wide receivers: Colton Myers, Hunter Phillips, Aaron O'Brien, Kirby Brock, Devon Mitchell, Jamie Fell. Hope I didn't forget anyone. We're playing 3 tight ends offensively in Mo Singler, Kyle Shuck, Ethan Cree. We're tailback by committee with Michael John, Zach McCauley, Deontay Alston, and in the line, that's our most improved position group. And at tackle, Derek Schultz, and a freshman, Joe Pokovic, who's after 2 games, I don't think you can consider him a freshman anymore. Gabe Skelly, Nate Schaefer, who's the utility man across the line. At guard, you got Frank Marin, Josh Gonloff, and then Zach Doyle is the center. So all those guys. I mean, you talk about, we talked about if you can't see the invisible, you can't do the impossible. Well, they've created a vision, and that vision, with experience, the vision becomes bigger, and they understand that.
And now let's switch to the defensive side of things. Brandon Felis and Kevin Gorman are the names on the defensive side of the ball. But Greg Nixon is also off to a great start.
Greg Nixon has shared time the last several years, and now Greg is in a position that he has that, and Greg has played very, very well. Greg is just such a very conscientious young man from Baltimore. Gosh darn, when you to meet Greg Nixon, you would see that he is just a very good Juniata man. I think that sometimes people forget Jarrett Shope, and Jarrett Shope was second team All Centennial Conference, and Jarrett has just done a great job at the defensive end. You got Ethan Wilt, Jonah Plymire at the outside linebackers, Garrett Pettyjohn, Casey Katzenstein also on that defensive line. In the secondary, Nick Stubbs, Demetrius Floyd at safety, also Charles Swaggart at the corner, and Nick Bonavita at safety. I mean, they're a very, very cohesive group. They've played the scheme very well. They understand it. What we like about our defense is how well we've gotten our defense to the point now. They run well. They're very aggressive, and hopefully that will benefit us the rest of the season.
And this weekend, you welcome Gettysburg to Goodman Field this Saturday. What do you see on film that impresses you about Gettysburg?
Well, the first thing you see about Gettysburg is you see Coach Streeter, who we have the utmost respect for. Here's a gentleman that has been at Gettysburg for 35 years, and to be able to achieve what he has achieved. I mean, he's kids. I don't know. Things have changed in 35 years, and he's been able to change with them and still keep his integrity and his philosophy. So that speaks volumes for them. In terms of Gettysburg is a very established program. They've been very consistent over the years. We feel they have very good speed, and we want to be a worthy opponent. We respect our opponents. It's the next game on our schedule, and we have to be ready to stay focused on the process and compete.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us here today. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, and thanks to the Centennial Conference for allowing the Juniata College football program to have this opportunity. I don't know, I'm sure all the coaches in this league realize that we're in a great conference, and how it's being promoted by our conference headquarters is just it's outstanding. Thank you.
Thanks again to Juniata head coach Tim Launtz for joining us on Inside the Huddle. If you can't make it to Goodman Field on Saturday, you can still watch the game live on centennialconference.tv.